Hi everybody. I wanted to take a few minutes to go over question number 3 and question number 6 from Tuesday's homework. So if you had trouble with either or both of those, hopefully this will help you. So let's look at number 3. The voltage used by most households can be modeled by a sine function. The maximum voltage is 120 volts and there are 60 cycles every second. Okay, that's pretty important. Which equation best represents the value of the voltage as it flows through the electric wires where T is time in seconds? Okay, well, let's look at our choices. They're all sine and they're all 120. Okay, that's where we got the maximum voltage is 120. So really what we're trying to figure out is the frequency. That's going to be here. Is it here? Which one of these has the correct frequency? So let's check it out. So it says there are 60 cycles every second. Well, that's sort of telling us the period. So if there's 60 cycles in 1 second, let's figure out how long it takes to do 1 cycle, because that's what the period is, how long it takes to do 1 cycle. So let's cross multiply. 60x equals 1, x equals 1/60th. So 1/60th of a second is the period. And that makes sense anyway. If you think about it, if 1 second, 60 cycles go on, then if I just want to talk about how long one cycle would take, that would be 1/60th of a second. Okay, so now let's do the next part. Now I need to figure out the frequency. So I know the period, and we know the formula for period is 2 pi over the frequency. And I know the period. I know the period is 1/60. Well, that equals 2 pi over f for frequency. Let's cross multiply. 120 pi equals f. That equals the frequency. So that means it is choice 4. Okay, let's go to number 6. A pet store clerk noticed that the population in the gerbil habitat varied sinusoidally with respect to time in days. He carefully collected data and graphed his resulting equation. From the graph, determine the amplitude, period, horizontal shift, and vertical shift. Write the equation of the graph. Okay, so let's actually look at where the graph, let's look at 1 cycle of this graph. So I'm going to highlight this. They give you a little bit extra on the left and a little bit extra on the right. But really, it starts here at 3,2 and ends here at 30, it's a little hard to see, 32,2. There we go. Okay. So the first thing I think, let's find the period since we kind of have it here. Starts at 3, ends at 32. So I could do 32 minus 3 for 28. That's the period, 28 days. Okay. If we know the period, we can figure out the frequency. So like we just did, let's say we know the formula for period is 2 pi over frequency. So if the period is 28, that equals 2 pi over f. Let's cross multiply. 28f equals 2 pi. F equals pi over 14. Okay, so that's going to be my frequency, pi over 14. That's good, okay. Now let's work on continuing to do the equation of this graph. So I think I would like to find the midline right now. So to find the midline, we want to find the highest y plus the lowest y divided by 2. We want to find the average. So this point here, if we kind of zoom in a little, looks like it is 17, 32. So it looks like to me the highest y is 32, the lowest y is 2. So let's do the average of those. Okay, so that's 34 divided by 2, which is 17. Okay, so let's draw that in. Find the amplitude, we're going to go from the midline to the highest or the midline to the lowest. So we're at 17 is the midline. We want to go up to 32. So 32 minus 17 is 15. So I'll write that out so we can kind of see it. So I took the highest y, which is 32. I minused the midline, 32 minus 17, and I got 15. So that's going to be my amplitude. Okay, I think we have almost everything we need. Let's talk about any shifts. Well, we have a shift right here. It shifted to the right 3. I think we're ready to write our equation. Y equals, well, it's a cosine because it starts not at the midline, it starts below the midline. And it's actually a negative cosine because it starts down at the bottom. So we know the amplitude is 15, so it's going to be negative 15 cosine. We figured out the frequency. That was pi over 14. They want us to use t instead of x, so t. It got shifted to the right, so inside parentheses, opposite of what you expect. So I'm going to do t minus 3 to show I'm shifted to the right 3. And then we can't forget about our midline plus 17. Okay, hope that helped you. Bye.